What's going on, everybody? And welcome to another episode of the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon
What's up? What's up?
and LeVon Maynard.
Welcome to the show.
What is going on? So welcome to Wednesday's discussion. So if you're tuning in this week, definitely tune in for our Monday and Tuesday topics, where we talk about Monday, we talk about Portland getting hijacked for $1.4 million. So that's definitely a good topic to jump into. Then on Tuesday, we talk about the Space Force and a new initiative they rolled out. I believe it's called the IA Pre. So to quickly get to write by using third-party vendors. So definitely check that out. Today's discussion revolves around an article I picked up from Security. So that's infosecurity-magazine.com by Deidre Olson, which is titled "3/4 of security pros believe current cybersecurity strategies will shortly be obsolete." To which that I say, duh. But what's interesting about the article are just the statistics, right? I want to kind of jump into those, not to belittle the industry. Like, yeah, of course, like things are ever shifting, evolving. Like things that were used for the protection of the network are sometimes used to its detriment. Cybersecurity is an ever evolving process, right? Because bad guys don't take days off. And crime pays sometimes. So that's a thing. So I'll read the first couple sentences, just to get the ball rolling. So it says, on Tuesday, Crossword Cybersecurity PIC, which I believe PLC, which is the company. So it's a cybersecurity solutions company, released a new report demonstrating that UK companies are increasingly worried about cyber attacks. In the survey of more than 200 CISOs and senior cybersecurity professionals, 40% of respondents said that their current cybersecurity strategy will likely be outdated in just 2 years. A further 37% said this would happen in 3 years. So yeah, again, our strategies are ever changing. The surface of each company varies. You have people attacking pipelines and power grids and Starlink, because they're aiding Ukraine in the Russian-Ukraine fight that's currently taking place. So we talked about earlier in the week, you still have people, which we don't know exactly what happened in Portland. From the article has not all been divulged yet, but we assume it was a combination of probably like a phishing attack, and maybe some privilege escalation, things of that nature, that would allow them to steal $1.4 million from the city, right? So there's a lot of old that's not being taken care of, and there's a lot of new on the horizon that we just have not seen yet, right? So 0 days are a typical occurrence. And then I wanted to get to the next. Where is it at? I have one more paragraph I wanted to talk about. So there's a quote in here. It says, boards must make sure CISOs have the budget necessary to get short-term issues under control and then begin planning a long-term business-wide strategy. So again, they're preaching the fundamentals, right? Like the CISO needs to have access to the board, and the CISO also has to have the ability to pull resources quickly to fix things that are low-hanging fruit. Like, it just makes sense to me before you even expand to the bigger picture, right? Like, we need the budget in order to protect the business in general and people's information. Because we talked about a whole company, like a company, I almost cussed. A company just fires a cyber team, right? It's like, oh, we got to save money. We just get rid of the whole cybersecurity team and then just leave themselves vulnerable. Like, it doesn't seem to be on the forefront of most companies' minds until after the breach occurs, right? So, but I'm done with my rant. What do you guys think about this article?
Yeah, I think you covered it pretty well, but it's just like you said. I mean, it's ever shifting. Technology is always improving. We've got new technology that's being developed, that's been been released, that we have to kind of analyze, just realize that there's going to be different vectors of attack that people are going to use to try to get into the different systems. And especially with IoT blowing up, we got all kinds of connected devices. We're connected with our cell phones all the time. We're constantly browsing websites and checking emails. And now, like you mentioned as well, like the satellite system, satellite service, we talked about that in last episode with the whole, DoD kind of set up a system to pre-approve some satellite services to make sure that they're up to snuff with their cybersecurity portfolio. So it's like, we just gotta do what we can to kind of stay up on top of the game. I mean, I know you mentioned before too, Ryan, with the whole fact that there's like I think they even talk about it in the article a little bit. There's like a barrier of entry into the cybersecurity field, and a lot of these companies are looking for individuals that have a long background in cybersecurity, even for some of these entry level positions. But sometimes you need some of that fresh blood that is kind of like just trying to learn about some of the latest and greatest, or just learned about some of the latest and greatest. If they just came out of school, or they've learned some stuff that's more modern, and they may not have the depth, but they may have some experience with some of the more like I said, more modern technologies. But it's a continuing battle. There's always going to be things that get hacked. I think it's also like not only preventing the hacks, but just the response to the cyber incidents that we have to be aware of, like how we can like fine tune some of our recovery and just like the reactionary like process that we go through to make sure that we can bounce back if we get hacked, if something goes down, that you can flip a switch and kind of turn it back on with like a backup or some sort of offsite location. But it's going to be an ongoing battle. I don't think there's ever going to be a point where there's no cybersecurity and no cybersecurity, no hackers out there. Just be like a continuing battle. But Shannon, what do you got on this one?
Got a moth in here with me is what I got. I'm reaching out for.
I was like, is he seeing a ghost? Like, what is that?
Right. That you were grabbing, like, yeah. You have some ghost in the air. Like, what's that?
We got moths out here like crazy right now. One has apparently made it into the house. I know it came into the garage, but anyway, back to what we're talking about here. But no, like this is one of those things where, yeah, you definitely have to stay ahead of the game, right? But like this is like the second time in as many weeks as we've done the show, I believe I've come up with this to where I thought the outside world was doing more like what the DoD was, right? Because they mentioned in here, they brought something up that I was like, how is this not something that they're already pursuing, right? And it's let me find this paragraph here. Managing the day-to-day risks is a tough balancing act, but one that can be achieved if CISOs have the right resources to upskill their teams in tools that leverage AI to bring efficiency and automation to help protect their organizations and the supply chain against today's threats, argued Chubb. So yes, this is like, and maybe I've been fortunate in that I've been working with the military and the DoD to where that's what we always try to do. We always try to work smarter, not harder, right? Because we never have a large pool to pick from to where it's like we can have a team of 1,000 people that do these things, for the Department of Defense, right? We always have a smaller pool. So we're always looking for automation. What's a smarter way to do it, right? What's something that's going to do it automatically, going to do it all the time if someone is not here, right? So it's still just kind of surprising to me that automation and trying to do things AI and working smarter is not something that's being done in the outside world. Now maybe that's the reason for that is because they do have a larger pool to pick from, right? Like we can't pick a lot of these people that are sitting down in their basement that are learning this stuff, right? Because when you're in the military, you also have to be fit, right? You got to be fit to fight. You got to do there's other things that you have to have come along with you to make it a smaller pool to pick from. So maybe that's why we work smarter and not harder, right? Because we just don't have as many people. But it's still just weird to me that that's not something that's always ongoing. But yeah, like some of the numbers they have in here, I'm just like 2/3 of participants said they would focus on handling the threat of ransomware attacks. Like, okay, yeah, I get that, right? Like, wouldn't everybody focus on that? Like, it's happening all the time. Why just 67%, right? But
Right.
yeah, it's an ever changing game, right? And just since we've been doing this podcast, like you've seen how things have changed as to, and it could just be the timing of it, right? Because it was during COVID, to where it's like we're seeing so many more things because so many more people are inside and have free time on their hands, right? Idle hands, right? Belong to the devil. It's the work of they'll do the work of the devil. But yeah, it's we have to keep up, right? Like there will always be something. You'll never catch everything, right? Because these bad guys, this is all they do, right? It's like athletes, right? Like if you paid me $1 million to just stay in shape all day, I think I could do it, right? Like it's very easy to do. These guys are making their money doing stuff they're not supposed to do. That's how they get their currency, right? They're 1.4 million out of Portland. That's how they get it, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's all they have to do. But yeah, it's an interesting discussion, man. Like I don't know where we're going. Like we know the jobs are out there for cybersecurity, right? We talk about it all the time. Like in the next, what was the numbers, Ryan? Like in the next 5 years, 500,000 positions or whatever it was. I can't remember. Something along those lines, right?
It's like there's currently 1 million vacancies. Yeah.
A million. I undersold it. Look at that. I said 500,000, and I was like, that sounds high. It's 1 million, folks. A million. So yeah. So like, it's just we know the positions are out there, and we know that is definitely going to be needed. You know what I mean? Because the people, you have those people that are just out there doing nefarious things, right? So we just got to stay on top of it. We definitely have to.
Yeah. The numbers did surprise me. They seem relatively low, but I'm sure it's going across many different demographics when it comes to the type of cybersecurity providing, the type of company. So if like you're a bank, then obviously ransomware will be higher on your priority list than a different type of industry. So I think it might be because they polled up 200 different CISOs and senior level respondents that is different, as well as it's UK versus the US, right? So like where their priorities set versus ours, which I believe they'd be in line because the whole NHS WannaCry situation, right? Like ransomware should be like top tier for them. But you know, what companies were polled in this, and what do they do? So I think that also causes some of the little I don't even know what to call it, like discrepancies in the numbers. But again, we talk about it all the time, like the pipeline is opening up. You have large companies, Apple, Google, Microsoft, dumping a lot of money into the STEM programs and putting them into areas of people of color to pull them into their companies to build diversity. You have actual entry-level positions going to be filled by entry-level people. That's a thing now. I started seeing my timeline. So like the people I've reached out to in the past for Ask Us SP, I'm starting to see their timelines change, and they're actually in companies doing what they wanted to do. It just took a lot of knocking on doors and submitting resumes more than it should have. But you're starting to see the tide change, at least from my bubble, right? So it's changing. But we only have so many years to get there, right? Like you said, the initiative is the next 3 years, the next 5 years. Can't wait a decade for this, because then we'll be even further behind the curve. You have super hackers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so it's changing. It's getting better. But yeah, the numbers here did surprise me. But I'll bring this one to a close. Definitely, if you have not checked it out, go back to Monday, Tuesday for our topics. We will be back on June 27th. So we're taking a summer break. So definitely check us out on June 27th. So like, share, subscribe, hit a bell, whatever it takes for you to see us pop up again and see our posts. And then tune in tomorrow for everything else. Yeah, I'm sorry, Friday for everything else. So we call it the rundown. We talk about movies, books, TV shows, all that good stuff. So definitely hit that up. Hit up all of our social medias. They go by our names. Hit me up personally. I'm at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, and Clubhouse. And you, LeVon?
Yes, sir. You can hit me up on the Twitters at LeVon Maynard.
There it is. Stay safe. Stay secure.
Take care.